I express my respects to all of you. We are reflecting on the Upanishad Yogasara. It contains not more than 14 lines, but a beautiful and also useful Upanishad it is. Upanishads are the great treatises. Therein we find spiritual wisdom of the great seers and saints of India. They help us to lift our mind to the height of the sky. Only that we have to reflect on those words. Whatever is necessary for living a beautiful life, living a peaceful life, living a rich life is there in the Upanishads. Therefore, Upanishads are widely read in many of the countries, in Germany, in France, in England, in America, and they admire the way the rishis put the things. They admire the way the rishis look at the world. Therefore, it has caught the fancy of the Western people. So beautifully the Upanishads are written. Writers were not the learned, the intelligent, but they were the greatest minds, souls. Much difference is there between spiritual greatness and intellectual greatness. Spiritual greatness comes from the heart, from the very center of our being. Intellectual greatness comes from the head, from what we see, from what we know of this world, and how we interpret the events that have been happening in the world. A man of intelligence may not get freedom, but the man of enlightenment, man of spiritual wisdom, are very great in their own way. Their mind is so noble, they cannot hate anything. Their heart is so beautiful, they cannot dislike anything. It is impossible for them to dislike and hate because their heart is so beautiful. If there is beauty in the heart, then eyes cannot see ugliness in the world. If there is a peace in the mind, then they cannot make any disturbance in the world. Heart is the center of all our activities. Heart is the center of all our activities. physical as well as mental. If the heart is great, whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we think will be great. If a heart is ugly, whatever we say, whatever we do, whatever we think, whatever we feel will be ugly. Ugliness and beauty do not depend upon the objects only, but also upon our feelings, our way of looking at the things, our heart. For example, Socrates cannot hate anybody, but Hitler cannot love anybody. So much difference. Buddha cannot hate anyone, but Duryodhana cannot love anyone. Why? Not because world differs from person to person, but only because our hearts differ. And now the Upanishads are there to cultivate our hearts. The heart is to be cultivated. Means it must be made beautiful. We are not changing the hearts. We are only beautifying the heart, making the heart beautiful. And the method suggested by the great seers is yoga. The best method, very practical, very effective method it is. And now we have a great seer as the expounder of the yoga, and there is a disciple who is very eager to have the knowledge from the master. Vyakhyāsyāmaha. We shall now explain the yoga, the great science, the great art. Yoga is both science and art. Science because it is based on the experiences of the great people. It does not come from books. It does not come from just imagination. It is not the creation of imagination. It comes from the very experiences of the great people. Means this knowledge, this body of knowledge of yoga is based upon, founded upon the experiences of the great souls who lived about 4,000 years before the common era. Great people lived there. They experienced, and whatever is said in this Upanishad is based upon their experiences. Therefore, it is science. Science. Art because it is an art because it teaches us how to live beautifully. It establishes beauty in our activities. Therefore, it is an art. It is based on direct experiences of the great people. Therefore, it is called science. Yoga is a science. Yoga is art. It is a great system. Now, the master teaches the disciple. The disciple has asked a question. Master, What is this yoga? What exactly is it? People mean many things by yoga. They mean many things. To someone yoga is X, to someone else yoga is Y. But exactly what it is? This was the question asked thousands of years before. And the Rishi, the master of yoga, a great teacher of yoga, a great yogin, defines it very beautifully, very precisely. And he uses only one or two words. He does not speak much, but says more. He uses a few words, but they mean much. This is the way the Rishis always speak, say. Very beautiful language, very brief language, short sentences, but impregnant with meaning. There is suggestibility in every word. They suggest. With a few words, the teacher, the master is defining yoga. What is yoga? The second aphorism or verse says, Yogaha chitta vritti nirodhaha. Yoga is chitta vritti nirodhaha. Nirodhaha, cessation of a chitta vritti, the modifications of mind. Yoga is the cessation of the modifications of the mind. What does that mean? That we shall see. How beautifully he has defined the word yoga. What is yoga? He says, in the simplest possible words, yoga is cessation, stopping. Cessate means to stop. What is to be stopped? What is to be blocked? What is to be controlled? Chitta vritti. Whatever arises in the mind is a chitta vritti. And they are to be controlled. Simple. In this verse there are three words. Chitta, vritti and nirodha. What is the yoga? Yoga is defined in terms of chitta, vritti and nirodha. What is a chitta? What is a chitta? Chitta means mind. In our common language, common man's language, it is mind. Mind is a powerful instrument, very powerful instrument. Physically, man is not so strong, but mentally, he is ruling over the world. So strong he is. Bodily, I cannot lift 1 quintal, but mentally I can lift the whole world itself. So strong it is. This mind is gifted to man by the nature. Very wonderful mind it is, but so subtle. If there is any wealth man should boast of, be proud of, it is the mind. It is the mind that gives value to the things. Gold is very valuable. Not because gold is valuable, but because mind gives value to it. If the mind says it is of no value, then no value. Means it is the mind that is giving meaning to the world. If I say I am poor, I am poor. Whatever be with me, maybe I am sitting in a golden chair, still I am poor because mind says I am poor. Suppose there is a beggar, a simple beggar, torn clothes, begging a bowl in his hand. He has no home, no relatives, only the begging bowl is his possession, property. If he says, I am rich, he is rich. You cannot oppose him. He says, I am rich. I am rich. Once Alexander met a man. When Alexander came to India, he met a man. He was a simple man. Not much clothes on his body. A lean but very beautiful man, mentally as well as bodily. Alexander met him and said, I am Alexander the Great. I am the ruler of the whole world, he said. Then the man said, you may be a ruler of the world. I am the ruler of the ruler of the world. I am the ruler of the rulers of the world. See how these people were thinking. It is the mind that makes us rich. It is the mind that makes us poor. With 50,000 rupees per month as a salary, I may say I am very poor. Poor. With only 100 rupees per day, a man may say, I am very happy, I am very rich. Rich. Simple. If you want to become rich, make your mind say rich. If you want to become poor, this very moment you will be poor with all the wealth with you. Means poverty and richness do depend upon the way our mind thinks. Means it is very easy if we control the mind, if we master our mind, it will be easy for us to become whatever we wish. If we want to become the kings of the world, we can become the king of the world without fighting, without raising an army and taking it to the neighboring countries and fighting big battles, killing and being killed. Nothing is needed, just make up your mind, says the Master. Make up your mind. I am beautiful, beautiful, isn't it? I am ugly, ugly. How wonderful is the mind. Therefore, mind is to be understood first. In yoga, mind is in the center. We have to study the mind. We have to know how the mind works. And we should deal with the mind tactfully, artfully, skillfully, so that our life becomes really rich. Mind should not be neglected. These days, everything is catching the attention of the people, except the mind. Mind is neglected. We go to colleges, universities. We know, we try to know, we do efforts to know about the earth, about the sky, about the stars, in cosmology, about objects in physics, matter and energy, about chemicals, elements in chemistry, about numbers in mathematics. In doing so, we forget that there is some mind inside us. Nowhere we get the knowledge of the mind, but without the mind there is no knowledge at all. The instrument we have forgotten, all else we are giving much importance to. This is the problem the modern man is facing today. Mind is to be understood. We know how the body works, how the body functions. When there is something wrong with the body, we go to the doctors. But when the mind is disturbed, we don't go anywhere because there are nobody to go. And we don't give much importance to the mind and mental health. But in those days, thousands of years before, the great masters of the East gave much importance to the mind. Forget the world for some time. Just think about yourself. Think about the mind. Try to know what the mind is. How does it work? What are its faculties? What are its functions? What is it capable of? This is the mind. And this mind everyone has. Not that European people have the mind and we are not having mind. I have a mind, you have minds. Everybody who is alive in the world is having mind. Having a mind. Not only human beings but also living beings. Other beings, animals. Animals have mind, monkeys have mind, birds have mind, fishes have mind. Whatever living being chooses has a mind, because mind chooses. Let me go in this direction instead of going in this direction. This shows that my mind is working. The dog knows when to bark, when not to bark. Why? It has a mind. Its mind tells it that now you have to bark, now you should not. The presence of mind is determined, inferred by these activities. Even amoeba, very small, unicellular organism, very, very small animal it is, very small. Smaller than it, there is no other animal. Unicellular, one-celled organism. It has no hands, no legs, no eyes, no ears. Still it makes a choice. Still it makes a choice. What to eat, what not to eat, it knows. If the particle which comes near it is very small, it covers it, it swallows it. If it is big, it goes away from it. This shows that there is a rudimentary mind, the mind in a very primary state. The mind is there, not developed, not evolved as it is with us, but it is in a rudimentary state. But mind is there. Thus, wherever there is body, there is a mind. And in the man, mind has evolved. Man is nothing but mind. Mananat manushyaha. He has a mind, therefore he is a man. If a mind is taken away from man, man becomes a machine, simply a machine. Mind makes men. A beautiful mind makes beautiful men. A distorted mind makes distorted men, means ugly men. Means all depends upon the mind. Let us love the mind, not hate the mind. Because without mind we cannot do anything in this world. If we go on hating the mind, then it is impossible to lead a joyful life. Love the mind. Mind is a wonderful thing. It is an instrument of a cognition, of knowledge, instrument of all activities, of feelings. Therefore, let us not dislike the mind, hate the mind. Whether you do meditation or do some business, the mind is needed. Therefore, mind is to be honored. It is not our enemy, it is our instrument. If we teach it, if we give an opportunity to it to evolve, it evolves very beautifully. Therefore, mind must be loved. First thing, mind must be loved.